our visitors, let me tell you that for many, many years now, Marston Cox, the least, was the chairman of this committee and did a splendid job of it. And he would always dress up, and so I thought, you know, I better put on a dark suit for this occasion. And so that's why I look this way. What I'm going to do is read you the descriptive material that I have, and at some point you may or may not figure out who our honoree is. It shouldn't take too long. He is a graduate of Shiloh High School. You know, I remember that line in the Bible, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" I always paraphrase that for sermonic purposes, "Can anything good come out of Ohio?" But anyway, I already graduated from Shiloh High School, and he got an undergraduate degree from UNC, so he came real close to a good weekend this past weekend. But of course they lost by 1 point. So he's a Tar Heel, was on the swimming team, and then ventured south of the border to South Carolina and got a law degree from the University of South Carolina and began practicing law with Norwood Gasquet in Latta. And that same year he married Belva and moved to Latta. He's now lived longer in Latta than anywhere else in his life. And he's been sort of a mentor to a number of the members of the bar in Dillon County, including a couple of judges, James Lockamy and Sally Huggins McIntyre, and then Nancy Bailey and Tim Ammons as well, member of the Dillon County Bar Association. He is a past president of this club, been a member since 1963. That's mighty close to being a charter member, I think. Has multiple Paul Harris Awards, fellowship awards. He's been a member of the Latta Fire Department for a number of years. For some reason, the number 25 sticks in my head. He was chief for 10 years. And also one of the first members of the Latta Rescue Squad. So in a sense, this would be a second award for him, since the Latta Rescue Squad was our Citizen of the Year some years ago. I've been town attorney. He was a town attorney for 50 years. That's hard to picture, but there it is. Member of the Latta United Methodist Church, serves on various committees there. Also a teacher in his Bible class. Past member of the Latta District School Board. Page 2. He's a member of the Dalco Lodge, number 160, served 2 years as pastor of the lodge, and a winner of the Silver Beaver Award. One of the things that I have noted about him over the years that I've been in the Rotary Club off and on for 35 years, is that he has always been a strong proponent of the scouting movement, and he is a recipient of the Silver Beaver Award, which is about as high as you can get in Boy Scouts. So, that having been said, you have almost certainly figured out that our Citizen of the Year for 2019 is Glenn Greene, Jr. Is he on his way?
Come on up, George.
I can deliver it if you like. There he is. I believe you had a cut too.
Well, there's a lot of people, all the people did, a lot of things.
Yeah, well, if you live long enough, man.
It was fun. That's all I know. Good to see you. Well, it's nice, and thank y'all a whole lot. There are a lot of other people that deserve a whole lot more. I've seen do a heap of work over the years that have gone. And anyway, I can thank and tell a bunch of people how they helped me come along, and I tried to pass a little of that along. That's all I got to say.
Well, it was stiff competition. You weren't a shoe-in. I mean, and it worked. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I believe there's some people who would like to add some comments.
I'd like to be the first to congratulate my takeaway here, Mr. Greene. You left out his 20-year membership in the Latta Scots Club.
I'm not sure how I can overlook that.
And in the Scots Club, he's known as Big Money. So now he can be known as Big Money and Citizen of the Year. Congratulations, Mr. Greene.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Should we, do we want to introduce the rest of the family too?
And for those of you who don't know, this is my mother on the end. Surprise. My sister Polly, and her oldest daughter Lola, who's now in high school. My wife Beth, Kay Wren and Robin Scott, who both worked for NETI for numerous years, and probably did more training for him or on him than anybody else could have done.
Thank you.
If I could add, when I came out of law school, I could have been a great Supreme Court justice. But I couldn't fill out a deed.
I'm afraid I would, go ahead, Doc.
Oh, you go ahead, Henry. I need some help.
You know, what can we say other than what you have already said for gentlemen of our, for Glenn Traveler in our community? All I can say is I'm happy to have Glenn Greene as my friend. Glenn and I have worked on many things together. I was the Boy Scout leader that y'all that sponsored the Boy Scout Troop 777. I was Boy Scout leader for 19 years. And Glenn has worked with me, Cork has worked with me, but Glenn worked with me side by side. And we had some of that little Glenn the third come in. But I can stand up and say that I am proud to know this man here as a friend. But you know, you've already said everything can be said about him. I can't say too much more, but he and I was in the fire department together. I know you said he'd been on in the Rotary Club since 1963. Well, I can match him on the fire department because I've been on the fire department since '63. So I feel fortunate to be on his side for many a year. And of course, some of you know, but we don't bring it up. Years ago, we had an incident at home with my wife, and Bella and Glenn was the first one by our side. This means so much in my life to knowing this man right here. So you've said it all in the history of your talk there on him, but we can't fill in too much more than what Glenn has done. other than being in the community and served our community the way he has. And again, I am thankful to know him as a friend, and I mean as a friend. He has helped me many times. Glenn Greene, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Henry, and for those of you here who don't know me, I'm probably one of the least qualified people to stand up here and talk about Glenn Greene. I left Latta in 1958, didn't come back until 2003, so it was about a 50-year hiatus in there. I do remember some things, though. I remember the historical Glenn and the real Glenn. The main thing about the historical Glenn I remember is he married one of the prettiest and sweetest girls in Latta. And I said, even for beach bum shyster, that's doing pretty well, really well. So that moved above to my estimation immediately. Since that time, and I put some things down here to talk about. I'm going to throw this away. I do this in Sunday school too, much to the relief of the people who are trying to listen to this. I'm going to shorten this. All of you remember, I'm sure, Glenn's upbringing at the beach, his tenure as a lifeguard and guardian of the pad, among other things down there. Those are things that only old guys like I can remember. Because in our Sunday school class, Glenn is the oldest, I'm the next oldest member. So I remember some things about his past, some of the historic, which we won't go into today. But it is indeed a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I thank Glenn for calling me last night, waking me up out of my after-dinner stupor. And again, I spent a lot of time thinking this morning about 3:30 about all this stuff that I'm going to forget. Congratulations, the honor well deserved, and thanks for being a friend. Thank you.
Well, I think what you've heard is why it is a joy to be in life, where people are neighborly, care about one another, do things for one another. So I'm sort of teasing a little bit when I told him he wasn't a shoe-in, but we had a strong slate of nominees this year. We really did. And so it was, I won't say it was easy to pick out Glenn, but Glenn stood out. So we congratulate him and rejoice in his company. Thank you.
The other hand was, guess what? Selling donuts, Krispy Kremes, up and down the beach. He'd walk carrying Krispy Kreme donuts, and I think that's how he met Bill Jenks. Selling, I think she bought a bunch of them too.
That's a noble college.
Well, I'm just real curious about these stories about the pad at the beach. I'd like to know all about that.
We ain't gonna have time for it.
Sure is.
It looks like everybody who was there survived, though. Is that true?
Well, maybe not all of them.
His dad owned it.
His dad owned it? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I first met Glenn when we first moved to Latta 25 years ago. He was the attorney that we used to close on the property. So I remember going into his office, and Sally was working with you at the time, I think, wasn't she? She just started, I think. And I just was like, okay, well, these are some of the first people I've ever met in town. So that was my introduction to Glenn. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to say? Yes.
I just like to say, from a personal standpoint, Glenn goes way back to our family. I know he helped Dad out a lot with a lot of stuff. My dad's been gone for quite a while now. But he helped Dad out a lot of legal things, and he's helped us out with a lot of legal things and non-legal things. Are those illegal things? No. But anyway, congratulations to you.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Went to work for Mr. Greene in 1996. Young, didn't know a whole lot, never been involved in anything with the law or anything like that. He took me under his wing. Kay worked for him at that point in time. And we had a good time, but there was one thing about Mr. Greene that you could always count on. You would get honest advice. It might not be what you wanted to hear, but if you went to him with any issue, any problem that you had, or an indecision, you were indecisive about something, he might not would tell you what to do, but he would give you some little tidbits of information or a life experience that would help you make those decisions. And it was always honest, and it was always from the heart. And so I've always thought of him as kind of second daddy to me, because I think he kind of pretty much raised me. Because I'm pretty young. In 96, I was like 12 when I went to work for him. So, Mr. Greene, thank you so much.
I just want to mention, as a fellow Charlotte High School graduate, that Glenn's mama taught me in 1965.
Wow.
And I still remember Miss Marvel, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate Glenn. I really do.
That's interesting. Do you have something to say, John?
Yeah, I need to bring this up since you mentioned it honestly, and I don't know if Glenn will remember this way back in the 70s. Glenn was a lawyer. I was working at Mullins Junior High School when they integrated. One of the token white teachers there. And we had a student that lost an eye on the playground. Remember that one? Threw this piece of shingle, and it hit him and turned just right on the playground. So Glenn represented him. So the first time I met him, he was suing us. Which I'm sure that was the first for a lot of people, right? And anyway, he was his own investigator, and he came over to the school, and he came in wearing his nice suit, very intimidating looking, and sat down in my office at that time and wanted to know what happened. And I was very honest with him and told him, hey, we had teachers out there on duty. It got down to whether it was supervision, stuff like that. And some student picked up a shingle from a house that was being demolished right beside the school. It fell over the fence, and the kid just picked it up and slung it. And so I was real honest with him and said, hey, it wasn't our fault, but I can't say that there's some issue there for us. Maybe we should have had more people on the ground, stuff like that. But it was a good conversation. And at the end of the conversation, he got up, and I knew we were going to lose, with a case like that, because it's a no-brainer. But he thanked me for being honest with him, and that really meant a lot to me, particularly in the next few years when he was on the school board when they hired me in Latta. That works both ways.
Glenn, do you have something to say?
No.
I've never seen
Some things I'm not going to tell because I remember the sound of that belt.
And the press is here too.
That's right.
Well, we thank all of you for coming today. This is one of the funnest things I think we do all year long. And it's always great to recognize somebody who's put so much of their heart and soul into their community. So let's give him one more round of applause.